Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be taking a look through my collection of vintage New English Library NEL paperbacks, magazines and related bits and pieces. So sit back, relax and let's take a look. So last time you remember we had a look at my 4 square paperbacks and they very much went up to 1969-70, and then by that point they'd morphed into the New English Library, and that is what we've got here, which is they're no longer numbered, but this is a New English Library release from 1971. So what I've done, I've gone through my collection and I've put them into year order. So that was a little non-fiction one, and here's a very nice science fiction title from Christopher Priest, also from 1971. So that's how we'll look at them going forward, is in date order, and we'll see the designs change and the look of the imprint change as well. But very much distinctive. We've got the New English Library along the top, got the little portcullis gate there, which does exist still. 1972. Now, some of these will be in, they will be the reprints of the books. They're not the first printings, but I've put them in the order that they were actually published so we can get to look at them that way. Now, one of the big releases for 1972 was Edge, the Edge series, and that was book 1. These all came out in the first year. Book 2, 3, 4 and 5. So mine are a mixture of first printings and reprints, but I have got the whole lot. I've got all 61, but the earlier ones are very tough to find in first edition, and I'm just really happy to have them as you know, have nice copies to read, you know. So this one's part of the New English Library Military History series, number 1 in that series, and this is dating from 1973 now. So these are all the books from 1973. A Damned Un-English Weapon. And we got the Edge books for 73, number 10. These are in the reverse order. So we've got one more Christopher Priest first, which is A Fugue on a Darkening Island. There we are, September 73 on that one. And these were the Edge books for 73. So there was 5 this year. They're pretty thin, aren't they? So quite formulaic. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then 1974 started off, well, that was the year of the Science Fiction Monthly, so I would imagine that this little insert here would have been popped inside NEL's science fiction books of the period, because it's a fold-out like way to order this, like to subscribe to the Science Fiction Monthly magazine, and it was this sort of size. There we are, the New English Library logo down the back there, and then on the back it told you, at last, you know, at last, a unique magazine from the leading publishers of paperback science fiction. So it was a little thing for your newsagent to reserve your copy, and the first issue was on sale 31st of January 1974. Now, they very much heralded the science fiction authors who were on the New English Library list, and that's an era of science fiction collecting that I'm definitely getting into. So we will have a look at those, and we'll have a look at the first year of Science Fiction Monthly after we've done the latest year of paperbacks, which was 1974. And what a good year it was. It kicks off with, well, you could say the absolute classic, The Rats by James Herbert. What a great jacket as well. Look, W. Francis Phillips. I wonder who owns that one. A great bit of artwork there. It even uses the original logo from the hardback, because don't forget, New English Library were publishing hardbacks as well. And although I haven't got any because I don't collect him, but you know, they published all the Stephen King, the early Stephen King, Richard Bachman, highly collectible, some of these books. Look, this is the first paperback edition, November 74. First paperback of The Rats. There we are, quite a scarce one, that, particularly in nice shape. I'd love to get a better one of that one. I presume H.M. Stanley's Greatest Triumph. Don't know much about that one. We got the Edge books, number 11, number 12, there's 4 this year, number 13, and number 14. And then we've got this one here, which is Three's Company. This is from Alfred Duggan. Once again, this is part of a series. It's like historical fiction set in the Roman times. It's got a wraparound jacket, as you can see. The jacket is also by W. Francis Phillips. And I actually own the original artwork for this one. So I shall show you that right now. So here's the original artwork by W. Francis Phillips. There's his signature down the bottom there. And yeah, beautiful bit of artwork it is. I've not actually read the book. I suppose I ought to, really. But fantastic detail. Huge piece of artwork. Very, very nice indeed. I'd love a few more bits by Francis Phillips. He's yeah, he's really, really great. Yeah, so a bit of a gem that in my New English Library collection. So here's the New English Library for 1975. We got Christopher Priest, Inverted World. And that's a wartime one there. Battle over Malta, One Man's Widow. Another one in the military history series, number 6 there, Captain Curry's Blunder. This is quite a nice one. It's a Haunted Cornwall. I've had that for quite a while. Yeah. If I can show you, it's a little anthology, a ghost anthology. And that's the titles in there. Yeah, April 75 this one came out. Quite nice. Well, there's Sun Goes Down, which is a book on kamikazes. The Single or Return. POW story. And then there was 3 Edge books that year in 75, which was number 15, 16 and 17, plus another year of the Science Fiction Monthly, of course. Okay, so we'll go through all the Science Fiction Monthlies right from number 1, and I have now got the complete set. I did film a detailed look through the Science Fiction Monthlies, where we go through every issue and every single page in a previous video, so I'll link to that one at the end if you're at all curious. But they are absolutely fantastic, and very much, if you collect New English Library and science fiction in particular, these are absolute beautiful magazines to collect. They do seem to have rocketed up in value in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, and I don't quite know why that is, but I think people are realizing that these are now, 50 years old, and they're just never going to turn up in absolutely immaculate condition. They did do a binder for them, which I'm still on the lookout for, which will be quite nice. But come the end, the print runs, when you hit volume 3, are tiny, and because of that, those later issues I think should be scarcer. But the earlier ones were quite big sellers, and volume 1 I think is by far the easiest to get your hands on. But they had a little pool of artwork that they could call on. They had a pool of authors they could call on, and they very much did do that. But the adverts in here are just terrific. Here's into volume 2 now. I think it would have really shouted on the shelves. I was a bit too young to remember seeing any of these around, but I did have a few through my hands in the 90s, and I managed to complete this set just a couple of years ago now, so fairly recently. But they are pretty stunning. But also enormous. But it certainly wasn't the only magazine that they published. There was other ones as well. There was a whole series of biker mags. There was the Dracula comic strip magazine. They would just cater to whatever would sell, ultimately. And nothing wrong with that. That's what it's all about. Volume 2, number 10. But yeah, it seems to be that there was very little investment come the end, and I think it ended quite bitterly, really, with the people working on it. They just weren't very very happy about how it all ended out. Great jackets these. So that was the end of volume 2, and then volume 3, well, didn't last very long. Just a handful of issues. Volume 3, number 2. That was the one I had to get. That was the one I was missing when I filmed the video last time, and I tracked a copy down. And that was the very final issue, volume 3, number 4. But yeah, definitely an incredible magazine. Really, really incredible. And even if you only buy it for the adverts, which are always terrific. Yeah, awesome. So here's the books for 76, and as you see, yet another new series, the Master SF series. Now, they're quite nice, these. I don't mind them at all, but they're really tough to find in high grade. So I've only got about 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, edited by Brian Aldiss and Harry Harrison. It's quite a list in the end. There's at least 20 in this series, so I think they're worth picking up. Introduction by Kingsley Amis there, Robert Conquest. There's another Christopher Priest there, Real Time World. And these sort of mid-70s ones, there's loads that I'm missing. The classic June series by Pennington, with the Pennington covers, for example. Loads of them, absolutely loads of them. But the good news is they are quite plentiful. So I'm not going to rush. I'm going to wait and try and find really nice copies. So 3 like regular fiction, and then we got 3 more Edge books for 76, 18, 19, and number 20. So 1977, this is quite a tasty one, isn't it? Martian Time Slip by Philip K. Dick, with an introduction, brand new, by Brian Aldiss. A nice jacket on that one as well. So that's in sort of above average condition, that one. In fact, I think that might have come from Dorset Bob. And then another one there, The Mind of Mr. Soames. Then the first part of Mike Ashley's The History of the Science Fiction magazine, which is really, really tremendous. Fantastic, this. I think that he ended up doing this over 4 parts, I believe. So yeah, great history, that. And then we had 4 Edge books this year, which was numbers 21, 22, 23, and 24. So this is for 1978, and this is Mike Ashley's second part of his History of the Science Fiction magazine. Really, really great stuff. This 36 to 1945. Then with this one here, which was actually a re-release from an earlier New English Library from 1972 on the Zeppelin fighters. Quite an interesting book, that. And then we had 5 Edge books. Numbers 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. That's already quite the series, isn't it? So 1979 saw James Herbert's long-awaited sequel to The Rats, which was Lair, which I think is just as good as The Rats, in all honesty. And also Minder. So, you know, this was based basically on the back of season 1 of Minder, which people forget was actually quite hard-hitting. And Terry, as well as working... Terry McGann there, as well as working for Arthur Daly, he was also working as a bouncer in a nightclub. And you forget in the first series just how quite violent it is. And it was the series that came as soon as the Sweeney wrapped up. So there was a little bit of that mentality tied into it. I very much recommend the first season of Minder. It's brilliant. And then we got 4 Edge books for 79, which was volumes 30, 31, 32 and 33, and that brought the 70s to a close. So this one from 1980 is quite a rarity. It's a very, very early work from Bruce Sterling. In fact, it may even be his first one. Quite the book, this one. It said copyrighted 1977, so maybe this is the first British publication of it, but it's a pretty nice copy. I'm pleased to have that one. And then we had an Edge spin-off, Edge meets Steele, Adam Steele, which was another series that George Gilman was writing, but I haven't actually got around to collecting those. I might do, but there's quite a lot of those as well. So we did that one, and then we had 2 more books in the Edge series, numbers 34 and 35 there. So that was 1980. 1981 is just 4 more Edge books, 36, 37, 38 and 39. Really nice jackets on those. So 1982 saw yet another new series. It was the Dirty Harry books by Dane Hartman, and these were based on the Dirty Harry series of films, Clint Eastwood. And so we had the first 3 volumes in 1982. There's volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. And I also have 3 more Edge books in the series. There's number 40, 41, and 42. 1982. So 1983 got 2 more volumes in the Dirty Harry series, volumes 4 and volumes 5 there, and 3 more in the Edge series, number 43, 44, and a new look for 45 where they get rid of the circle there with the Edge logo in, and it goes right across the front there. So for 1984, I've got Dirty Harry Volume 6 there, and we got one of the Dirty Harry movie novelizations, A Sudden Impact. So that was also a New English Library, so I guess they must have just had the license. We've got a couple of Edge books, so we've got volumes at 46 and 47, and certainly the covers are a little bit more dynamic now, aren't they? There's a bit more action going on. We got an odd one from Guy N. Smith. I'm sure we've got some more of his somewhere else, but maybe they're not published by New English Library. I shall have to dig them out. I'm certain I've got some more. October 84, yeah. And the first book in the V series. This is actually, it's like the 10th printing, but it's the original jacket of it, and it's from the year that it got published. It's a tough one to find in nice condition. That one's virtually unread, and that was a big hit for New English Library. The V books sold a lot of copies, especially that very first, and in fact the second one. And I will just say at this point that almost certainly I've missed out a few odd Foursquare and New English Library books in my collection. They're just scattered throughout various series, so next time, I guess. So here we are in 1985, and we've got 3 more V books. I remember that one as the first follow-up to V being incredibly popular, and this one, fairly popular, shall we say, in Chicago conversion. Once again, it was another one, a bit like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. last time, where a lot more books on the series, in this case V, got published in America than we actually saw over here. And we had 3 more Edge books leading up. There was numbers 48, 49, leading up to, well, you could say the anniversary issue of number 50, which gets a gold embossed cover for it reaching the 50th release, which is pretty cool. So 1986 then, we got the Florida Project, Prisoners and Pawns, and the Alien Swordmaster. So 3 V books and 3 more Edge. 51, 52, and 53. Okay, so these are the books for 1987, and there's just one odd V book, the New England Resistance, and then we had 4 more Edge books. There's 54, 55, 56, and 57. I think it was Dorset Bob who told me that during the 1970s, New English Library didn't really have a great reputation amongst sort of book lovers or book collectors, and many of the fans sort of referred to it as the New English Lavatory, referring to the quality of the paper that the books were printed on. I think they do sort that out come 81, 82, but certainly the books in the 70s, the page quality has definitely aged quite badly over the last 50 years. So if you find books from that period with nice white pages, you're doing pretty well. Now these are for 1988. We got the final V book in the UK, and then we had Edge books 58 and 59, and these are quite scarce, these tail end Edge volumes. Then we have the last 2 Edge books. Now those, they really are quite the rarities. Those, that one goes for about 25 to 30 pounds. I've seen 61 on its own go for as much as 100. I have seen it sell for £100, that final one, and it must have just had a really low print run, although I didn't pay anything like that for mine. But yeah, actually number 60 was the last one I had to track down, and it was a bit of a scarcity. But that was for 1989. Now, I had a little look, and I've not got much for the 90s at all, but I did see these in my Harry Harrison collection. You see, they are New English Library, and by this time, New English Library had been bought out and was part of Hodder and Stoughton, the publisher. So that's who they've ended up with, Foursquare to New English Library to Hodder and Stoughton. And these are, I think, are like from about 2000. Yeah, from the year 2000. So I think around this period pretty much was the last hurrah for New English Library, but certainly a fascinating publisher to collect. And if you look at it in the context of all the Foursquare stuff that went before, well, you know, you've got quite the publishing history there since, well, the mid-1950s. It's a huge run. And on the whole, their books are really great fun to collect. Loads of stuff I haven't got a single even a representation because I don't really collect them. Things like the biker books, for example, the punk books, some of the music titles I've not got. I've got no Stephen King, although I think I'd probably pick them up in paperback first if I saw them now. And I'd certainly like to get a lot more James Herbert, because he was an author I really liked. There was loads more magazines, of course, and there was loads of hardback books. It's a huge publisher to get your teeth stuck into should you want to. Anyway, there we are. I hope you've enjoyed looking through that collection of New English Library. It's certainly the basics of a really good collection, I feel, and I'm definitely going to be concentrating on the 70s science fiction over the next couple of years. That's what I'm really focused on right now. And if you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage paperback content. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.